Hello everyone, it's Professor 095 back with Thursday stream reviews. Now we have Yotsuba coming into the mix, and our initial reaction to her skills was pure WTF, right? So Yotsuba is here, but we have a little bit of a twist, right? So we'll get straight into why that's the thing, right? So before that, we'll get straight into the news. We'll just like to say, I would just say, if you've been watching, please do hit like and subscribe, and if you like what I'm being doing, to stay for more. Alright, so there we have night after the school festival, Yotsuba Nakano. So generic grade 1 is the one that's right on the starter. Then you get crest, then you search for your deck for one critical blood, put it to your memory, shuffle your deck, right? Yada yada as usual. Alright, continuous. If Guardians ago 3 or more quintuplets with different card names, ship plus 5k, so very generic as in all the quintuplets does. So the Bright's Letter Yotsuba Nakano, when this unit is placed by riding on a grade 1 quintuplet, you look top 7 of your deck, choose of the one quintuplet, put it into your memory, shuffle your deck, right? So easy as that. Continuous very good. If your card was put into your memories this turn, plus 5k. If there are 5 or more quintuplets with different card names, it gets 10k instead of 5k. So 20k attacker, and instead of the 5k attacker. So okay, so quite nice with Nakano, with Yotsuba. And then we have the grade 3, which makes everybody went completely insane, and I'm gonna explain why, right? So skill. When this unit is placed in the Vanguard circle, you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, you choose up to 2 quintuplets from among them, okay? And you actually reveal it and choose one of the reveal cards and add it to your hand, put the rest of the reveal cards in your memories, and then you shuffle your deck, alright? So that's the skill. Second skill, when this unit attacks, you count the +1, and for every 2 cards in your memories, doesn't need to be different ink, this unit gets 5k until the end of turn. If there are 6 or more cards with different card names in your memories, you draw 1. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you choose a quintuplet from your drop zone and put it into your memory. And last but not least, this is where it gets crazy. At the beginning of your turn, if there are 14 or more cards with, in your memories with 7 different card names from among them, you win this fight. Okay, so my initial reaction to this was, OMG Yotsuba, you just can't simply exist and put the Omega Glendios off on us, alright? So technically speaking, she's Omega Glendios indeed, right? But that aside, the fact that Yotsuba technically speaking is from she's from Keter. I would like to specify on that. Well, spoiler alerts, I have no idea. I don't know if this is deliberate, but for those people who actually read the manga and watch the anime, you get what I meant. I'm not sure if this is deliberate, but that's besides the point. She has very good skills, right? So how do I feel about this card in general, right? So the first skill is, okay, you just get to add get to add 1 card, so we like 3 costs, so that's okay. So she gets like 5k until the end of turn, so it's like 5k for every 2 cards in your crest, like in your memory. So in a sense that if she has 12, technically speaking, she can get like say 6 times, she just gets 30k, right? On her own. So she's a 43k attacker. So yes, on her own. And she gets to draw 1 card if there are 6 or more different card names, so which is good for that purpose. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, choose a quintuplet and put it into your memories, which means that early game, it kind of gives you that pressure whether or not you really wanted to guard this or not. Because if you allow this attack to go through, it means that you're giving your opponent a chance to choose that quintuplet from your drop zone and try to set it to the memory. So thereby turboing the last effect, which is the win con condition, right? So this is Omega Glendios, technically speaking. Alright. Yeah, so that's Yotsuba, that's what she does for her grade 3. And then we have the skill for the order, which is a grade 3 order. You play this if your Vanguard is the yotsuba. So if you choose up to 2 quintuplets with the same card name from your drop zone, put one to the bottom and put the rest to your memories. If one or more cards were chosen, you base on how many different quintuplet card names in your memories. 3 or more, you choose one of your Vanguard, plus 5k until the end of your opponent's next turn. Until the end of the opponent's next turn, she gets 5k. So that's actually quite good. So it gets very defensive. So 18k, and then 5 or more CC1. 7 or more, you choose one of the quintuplet rearguards, and it gets auto rearguard. When this unit attacks, this unit can perform draft checks until the end of the battle, and then at the end of the battle, you put this unit to your memories until the end of turn. This is pretty good. Not only Yotsuba gets like this power up, but the fact that like the rearguard can drive check. Similar like a Kettle OT in a sense. So imagine if you drive check a Kettle OT or like OT on Yotsuba, that means that you can technically perform another additional drive check, if I would say, but I'm not sure how the ruling works in a sense, but the rearguard can still drive check. So if you can drive check with the Kettle OT, that means that you can say, for example, you can drive check one, yes, and that's quite good. And if it's a grade 3, you can perform 3 drives. So that's kind of good, and then at the end of the battle, you just put it to memories. So which is, wow, amazing, right? So that's what she does. Last but not least, we have the Day of the First School Festival Yotsuba. When this unit is placed on the rearguard during your main phase, if your Vanguard is quintuplet, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, you choose up to 1 quintuplet from another, put it to your memories, and then you shuffle your deck. Okay, so simple as, right? And continuous rearguard circle, if there are 3 or more quintuplets card name in your memories, this unit gets 2k power until the end of your land active, which is also active on your opponent's turn as well. Plus 2k, so 10k attacker, 10k defense, 10k defensive. Self-explanatory. I think this is a very generic card for across the quintuplets as well. So for her special grade 2, auto rearguard, when this unit attack hits, if your Vanguard is the grade 3 Yotsuba and you counter plus 1, you put a quintuplet from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck. Search your deck for up to 1 quintuplet, put it into memories and shuffle your deck. Then if there are 5 or more cards with different card names in memories, you may draw a card. So technically speaking, she is on hit skill. So the question lies with how many, how Vanguard usually goes. Some attacks you let through, some attacks you don't let through. So if she if her attack hits, she can basically just like search the deck and just set it in your memories. So which is quite nice. And the fact that if you give that order to this grade 2 Yotsuba to perform a drive check, that makes your guarding a little bit harder because you may never know what your opponent might drive check, right? So it kind of plays a lot of pressure, especially if the grade 2 Yotsuba and grade 3 Yotsuba to say, do you want to let my attack hit or not? Or else I'm gonna turbo my way to the win con. Now this is especially, I would feel like this is a little bit overpowered, but if you know how to control the damage, whose damage you should take from, even then, it's very ridiculous because technically speaking, Yotsuba can also swing the rearguard as well, because her skill does not really specify whether or not, her skill does not really specify that her attack must hit the Vanguard. So technically speaking, she can also hit the rear, which also in some games puts you at a disadvantage because you also need an open damage for your counter blast and whatnot, right? So imagine if you have like a very matchups like where Yotsuba's gonna swing into your roaming prison dragon, for example, right? It makes things even more harder, and she can technically turbo, and she can search your deck to search the deck to try to find different memory, different quintuplet, and then set it to memories. So this is really, really good, and the fact that this Yotsuba is right. I don't know if this skill is actually deliberate or not, considering how for those people who watch the anime and who read the manga. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna leave the spoiler. I'm gonna like leave the spoilers, but you can know what I mean, right? Any hint, like wink, alright? Okay, so we are done with Yotsuba's quintuplets effects for now. We'll go to the rest of the character cards for BP12. Magic of Blowing Winds Pararius. Auto Rearguard when your Vanguard is attacked. If it's the 5th or more battle during this turn, you bind this unit, you choose one of the units, and you cannot be hit until the end of the battle. So technically speaking, this is like a pseudo perfect guard, but in a condition that it is the 5th battle, so against Shoujo Doji, against Maelstrom, against Flagberg. So this is technically really good against multi-attackers. So it's only a common, it's a grade 1 common if I'm not mistaken, right? But then again, whether or not is it a common or rare? I think it's a rare, but even then, you have no space. Technically speaking, all character decks have no space to play this. Unless of course you want to really like to keep out this one. I mean, it's very generic across the board, so I felt like you can either run this or don't run this, but the fact that there's a lot of decks that can really do 5 attacks, right? Messiah, for example, can do 5 attacks. What other decks can do 5 attacks? Relista can do 5 attacks. Unica maybe not. Drajuo can do 5 attacks. So I wouldn't say across the board. I mean, Zorga can also do 5 attacks, right? So we have like 2 roaming Brazen Dragons. Then he's no, Zorga doesn't get to the 5 attacks. Okay, I was wrong. But there are a handful of decks out there that can do 5 attacks, so I felt like playing this card might be helpful in some sense, but again, it's up to the players to try to figure it out what's their deck list, how they want to build the deck, right? Okay, now we have Slashing Knight Nehel Lenia, okay. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle, Soul +1, you choose one of your opponent's rearguard, put it in the bottom of the deck, and your opponent draws 1 card. So this is technically like that one. It's a great tool, okay, by the way. And I don't understand how her skill is actually warrants a double rare, because she is technically a double rare, a grade 2 double rare. Now you just Soul Blast in your bot deck and your opponent's draw 1. So I'm not only I felt like this would put your opponents at an advantage where if they are sitting in a situation where they're backing out, you're just gonna help them and just like draw 1. So I mean, it's good. It's technically like that one OTT card I used to think of. What's the name? Was it like Dark Cat? So it's technically like that. You just like, I don't know, like Soul Blast and then each player draw 1 or something along those lines, right? So it's coming back like this. But I feel like nowadays, with all of the crazy character its skills, especially with like the most recent one this week with the Great 2 Bear on place, counterblast 1, discard 1, and then you choose one of your opponent's rearguard, and your opponent has to put the rearguard and that the same name in the drop zone to go to the bot deck. So technically speaking, with all of these new character cards, not only them, but like the previous support where you have seen all these character cards pulling off this bot deck skill, it makes me think that whether or not you can actually try to revolve your deck around building a deck that specifically bot decks, just like Gear Chronicle, right? So Captain Sanctuary is just basically the new GC in town, right? So it did not, so technically speaking, like, well, Gear Chronicle did not die, it's just changed in the Switch Nations, right? So for in this case, it's like Captain Sanctuary, when they kind of like bot deck is, along those lines, right? So that's it. And then we have this new recycled cycle cards for the cats, the beasts, and whatnot. So I'm gonna read the corrected translation right here because the top one is like kind of like iffy. So just to let you guys see, so this is a grade 1 card from Captain Sanctuary as well. So it's a great one, and I felt like this art is kind of cute and quite nice as well. The skill is yellow jeweled beast for pass. When this unit is placed for the rearguard or put on Guardian Circle, you just put the 2 cards from your right deck, which is a 0 and a grade 0 and grade 1, either from the soul on the drop, and you put it back to the right deck face up. perform either of the following according to this cycle is placed on. You look at the top 5, you choose out the one unique card with the grade less or equal to your Vanguard from among them, call it to trigger circle and shift your deck. If it's not your main phase, you rest that call unit. And GC plus 50k shield, simple as. But I felt like this is probably the worst out of this is, for me personally, I would say the worst out of this jeweled beast so far, these cats so far, right? Because the fact that it's actually like quite good to fill up your board, but it will be technically worth that triple rare, you know, that rarity, provided if like this card can actually like help you call during the battle phase. Technically you can call during the battle phase, it's just that you have to rest that. And I feel like it's a little bit iffy on that. Well, technically speaking, I really find this jeweled beast not I'm not sure. I think it's just me, but people can, you know, beg to differ on my part, where it's only a one-off, number one. Alright, so this is what I felt like, right? With all of this, you know, jeweled beast, these cats coming in, I felt like it's kind of doesn't really worth that triple rare rarity, and it's like one-off, and doesn't do much. Except if you want to put the, you know, the Dark States one where you can actually CC. Okay, maybe you can talk about that one because that's kind of good. And this one I felt like it's a little bit, So it's good in some decks, but I felt like it's not really necessary. So it's not my cup of tea personally. I can't speak on behalf of everyone, so it's just my personal opinion. So next card, 3 support cards for Stoichia, including the cycle card. The last 6 cards for Itsuki, which will be coming on next Thursday. Now, this is where makes everybody else quite excited, because right now, on November 17th, we actually have Malevolent Masquers, which is a special Series 11 supply gift set. Now, this supply gift set is only, I will reiterate and I will try to highlight over here, this gift set is only for English, okay? Japanese version does not get it, which I wish Japanese could get something as good as this. Alright, they could have reprinted Masters, but we have Masanori. We already have Masanori Masters, so I hope they're gonna print more, especially when Office Masters is coming in. So either that or Mask of Hydrogum has been speculated to be reprinted in BT12. We'll see if that prediction holds true, but I'm hoping that's the case. But even then, English will get this one, and from the link itself, I have heard that it is actually includes one rubber playmat, one short storage box, okay, and then you have 2 PRs, which are 2 Mask of Hydrogums. So that's actually quite good, as well as like some acrylic coins, if I'm not mistaken, on the sleeves. It's either one of those, but you get what you get. Technically, get the playmat, the box, the coins. I think it's the coins, and 2 mask PRs, which is good. I'm not gonna complain for English. So this is good on several levels, because number one, if Mask of Hydrogum is already expensive enough to be built in JP, imagine how expensive it is going to be in English version, right? So I think it's good for them to try to like reprint more and more of this, like, you know, these maskers, especially if you're going to do for like future supports, which, you know, technically speaking, you have your dual maskers, you have Unica maskers, you have like Orpheus Masters coming in the English version sooner or later, right? So all of these cards are like Zorka Masters. All of these are really important cards, and they are in a sense meta. Not you, Unica, sit the F down. You are not good. You have Zorga and you have Jewels, which is good and semi-good in a sense. So it gives the people the opportunity to try to build Maskers decks as soon as possible. and which is good. I'm happy for that. So as an English player, probably I would say like, I don't have to scramble so hard or find like my cards so hard just for this one mask order. So, and that's about it, right? And that's it. I think that is all for the reviews this time round. The supply set was kind of like surprise as well, because we got this news in the middle of the night, after as soon as after the stream revealed, the Thursday stream revealed. So yeah, that's about it. Alright, so what do you feel about today's stream? How do you feel about Yotsuba? How do you feel about the mask supply set? So if you have any suggestions or comments, or if there's any mistake I've made, just kindly point it out in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys on the next video in regards to in the next video, whatever it is. Okay, so I'll see you guys next time. This has been Professor 5 signing.